Welcome to the Crazy Cool Family Podcast with Don and Suzanne Manning. Parents, what if we could give you the power to transform your family into something absolutely amazing?
A family where everyone is healthy, gets along, loves Jesus, and has great purpose in life.
Hey, let us flip your thinking to unlock the power God has given you to create your own Crazy Cool family. Welcome, Crazy Cool parents, to the podcast. We are so excited to be with you today. We have a great little podcast for you today. We're going to talk about just how
We're going to talk about parenting.
Yeah, imagine that exactly.
Oh, isn't that what we always talk about?
We're going to talk about some parenting issue.
Some issue.
Yeah.
Let's talk about all the issues.
We are actually going to talk about kind of a big picture of how we help you at Crazy Cool Family. As we were going through the podcast and the notes and things, we were thinking, oh my goodness, do you remember when we were younger parents?
And we went down memory lane a little bit. Let's go back to 1212 Falling Water. That was the first house we lived in. Do you remember bringing Madeline home and Macy home and Mackenzie home and Michael home from the hospital?
The story is that, so the story we remembered is that Suzanne...
It made us realize we were so in over our head when it comes to parenting.
So we bring Mackenzie home, our fourth daughter, and so we have 4 very small children at home.
Yeah, we can't do the math to tell you how old they were, but they were like 4, 2, 1.
Honey, I'm going out for a run. I mean, Mackenzie's like, a day old?
Oh, yeah. I think, we just got home from the hospital like that afternoon.
Yeah, so I go out for a run.
He had me all situated. He had the little girls, teed up and ready for bed, and everything was fine.
And then all of a sudden, Suzanne believes that Mackenzie has quit breathing.
Which she did. When she was an infant, she would just stop. And that most infants do because they haven't breathed yet. So they're not used to it.
So she calls 911.
But you're jumping the gun. Her lips turned blue. Mom and Dad, come on. Her lips turned blue. I freaked out. A little probably more than I should have.
So here comes the ambulance to our house.
The fire truck, because they bring the whole neighborhood in.
I'm out running. I have no idea this is happening. So the ambulance gets there.
All the neighbors rush over because they see the ambulance and the fire truck there. They know that the mom's home with a newborn baby. They're all panicked. Yes. All the little girls are now out of bed.
And then, so the ambulance...
So I'm wearing a T-shirt and like a little pair of shorts, nothing. And these very good-looking EMT guys, like 27 of them, there was really probably only 2 or 3, come storming into the house.
They were 27 years old.
Yeah, so young. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed.
And so then
they say, ma'am, your daughter's fine.
They do. And then they leave. Well, guess what? I'm still on my run. And so all the neighbors leave. I come back home.
I get all the other little girls back to bed.
The house is totally quiet when I get home. And I'm like, what? And Suzanne tells me this story, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I was only gone for like 30 minutes.
And it made me think, God, what were you doing? What made you think we could have 4 little girls? What made you think we could have another infant?
Yeah, we were just talking about how, I coached basketball teams, and, we would spend our Saturdays, I would coach just 2 or 3 teams at a time because I wanted to...
back to back to back. I mean, remember that we were in a league where the guys loved Don and they wanted him to be the coach. And so they would roll out the schedule and they would plan it around Don. Okay, he's got a 4th grade team. He's got a 1st grade team. He's got a kindergarten team.
And we had infants as well. And so, it's like, how did we do it? And we so wanted to be great parents. We were so wanted to be, a lot of people at our church were pursuing parenting and at a high level, and we just wanted to be successful at it. And
we wanted to do it all right, whatever right means when it comes to parenting.
Yeah.
We just wanted to be the parents that were doing it right. We didn't really, I mean, if you really get down to it, we didn't want to mess up.
We didn't want. I was scared to death we were going to mess up.
Yes, that we were going to mess them up. That something we were going to do something that was going to destroy their lives.
We were doing something wrong, or we didn't know how to do something right, or whatever it is. And we just so wanted resources or a resource, someone or something we could, really
And
we tried.
I mean, we tried to do that. We read the books. We went to the conferences. We had families over and interviewed them. What do you do here? What do you do that? What do you do? But it still felt like it was kind of like just stretching and reaching and pulling and grabbing resources from out of nowhere.
And you may be feeling like that too, parents. We got further down the road And then, we had teenage daughters in particular and, younger boys, but, parents started asking us questions. Okay, what are you doing?
Well, we had survived a big part of the journey when it came. We had successful teenage daughters that loved the Lord, and they would go to their house and they would watch their children and they would clean the house, and they would come home and they would ask us, "What are you doing?"
Yeah, who are these kids?
Yeah. And we're like, what are we doing? Yeah. What have we done?
But then we started dreaming a little bit, and we said, what if we could design a resource for parents that was comprehensive, that could take everything that God, because we did pursue a lot of different people, a lot of different people in front of us, mentors as well as books and things. We said, what if we could create a product that really does comprehensively help parents build that framework where, in effect, what I always say is, parents, we wanted to teach you how to fish. Mm-hmm. We didn't want to teach you all the techniques and all the, here's
the how-tos.
When X happens, you do Y. It's more about all
because there's too many unknown variables. It's an unknown, so we can't really even speak into that as parents because the situations and circumstances are so different. And so what resonated with us is, what does it look like to go after the heart? What does it look like to go after the inside of the child, so that it doesn't matter what happens on the outside? You've got the inside molded and shaped.
Yeah, and what we found was too is that you had to go practice it and come back and learn some more. It's like
you had to mess up and learn and succeed learn.
I mean, in a simple world here, I could teach anybody how to shoot a basket. A jump shot's easy to teach. There's very few fundamentals in the mechanics. But to shoot like an NBA player takes a lot of practice, a lot of refining. You got to keep coming back to it. And we're like, okay, how does that apply to parenting? How does it apply to Christian parenting? How does it apply to what we later termed a crazy cool family?
Right.
How do we replicate what God has shown us in a nice, neat little package so that parents can come to it and go over and over again and go, oh, yeah, okay, now I'm good. Okay.
I get it. That makes sense.
Let me go back and
that resonates.
Let's go practice this for a while, and then we can come back and we can do it. And so for us...
Well, and it's almost like a rearranging of your thinking. What you thought, how you thought it should go, you actually rethink it so it's different. That's what we had to learn along the way, and that's what we wanted to share with parents.
Yeah.
That they come at a situation, but if you come at it this way, then it's going to be a success. You're going to have your child's heart. You're going to win.
Yeah, and if you pursue your kid in this way, you're going to win their heart, and you're going to win it for good. Yeah. And you're not going to have to keep controlling them, and you're not going to have to keep doing the same things to try to keep them down or to make them obey immediately or whatever it is. And so really what that came down to us, it started with seminars, but it really came down to a book.
Right.
And that was the first time we said, okay, we're going to get serious about this, and we're going to start to articulate, because the seminar was good, but when you have to write a book, it makes you really have to hone everything you say because it's got to be succinct.
Well, it's such a good exercise for us because we had to really think about what is it that we did that was a success. We pulled our kids together and said, what is it that we did? Like you said, that we want to replicate. What do we want to tell all the parents? What do we want to show them? What is the definition of a crazy cool family? We hadn't even thought about that until it was time for it to put it in letters and print on a page in a book.
And how do we make it easily that we could literally sit down on a napkin and show it to people. And so, but as you might expect, doing something simply is the hardest thing to do. It's easy to make it. It's easier to write a 5-page paper than it is to write a 1-page paper.
Right, because you've got to get concise and you've got to get, specific.
And so what I did at that point is I spent literally hours with a marker board and just thinking about all the different concepts and diagrams and the way we could show it. And And then I would bring it back to Suzanne and we would say, what do you think about this? And she's like, what do you think about this word? Or what do you think about this concept? What do you think about this
tagline? So many.
We just went over and over and over it again. And
I even remember at one point we had it laid out, structured. And then I think it was you that came and said, nope, we've got it wrong. We've got to flip it. It's got to go the other way. And this has got to be the first part. And this has got to be the middle. And this has got to be the end. And it's got to be in 3 different sections. And that's when it's like the light went off. And it's like, this is going to help families be crazy cool.
Yeah, and it's going to help them with, it's simple, but yet it's deep. Mm-hmm. And so that's when we wrote the book. And because that's just like Jesus. And everything we've done comes from Jesus. It really does just start with what his idea of what's important and relationship.
I mean, and he has a book.
Yeah, exactly. And it's simple, yet it's profound.
Way better than ours.
Yeah, exactly. but the book, and once we release the book, it's like, okay, here's what we're teaching. But it was hard for people. What we found is you can't learn all the concepts in that book by reading it in a week or two.
Right. It's a super easy read, and you can read it in a week or two. You actually can read it in a couple days. But because there's so many concepts that are literally rearranging the way you parent, then it's like you read it, but then if you don't apply any of it, then you really haven't changed your family that much.
Yeah. And so the book was essential, and we started just sitting down with families and parents and going through it with them
Small
and step
groups
by step
and classes.
But we found that, everybody'd read it and then they would just kind of stop.
Well, it's true. They'd stop about halfway,
That's
almost
true.
3/4. And we're like, wait a second, you've got to get to the end.
Yep.
The end is about culture, and that's the most practical part.
Yeah.
You've got to get to the end.
And then someone suggested a podcast. So that we could sit, so we could talk to people.
You remember that first podcast, Dawn?
Oh, wow.
Oh my gosh. If you guys want to laugh, go back and listen to that very first podcast. We had no idea what we were doing. You can hear how nervous we are in the voice because the whole concept of podcasts was, new to us for sure. And so, but it's been a couple years since we've been doing podcasts, and I would say it's one of the things I enjoy the most.
Yeah. We just get to sit down and talk to you like this.
Yeah.
It's very informal. We love the podcast because we can, it's so hard for us. We love to sit down across from another couple and talk to them about their family.
And encourage them and build them up and just, I love that. And I love getting feedback. Like for every week the podcast comes out, somebody either emails or texts at Susanna Crazy Cool Family or Info Crazy Cool Family, or they'll post on our social media something about, hey, love this from the podcast. I even had a girl say, I listened to a podcast from this summer and I just love it. And anyway, I just love the feedback.
Yeah. And really, it's again going back to, we want to teach you how to fish. We want to teach you we're not trying to teach you techniques. We're trying to teach you, get concepts and drip concepts in your brain and in your heart that first starts with you. If you've been around Crazy Cool Family a while, you know that we say that parenting starts with you. It's not about changing your kids' behavior. It's about first changing who you are.
Family,
and when you become the best version of yourself, then you're going to become a better parent. Well, guess what? We got to go after your heart and drip concepts into you, because when we can change your belief system, then we will change your family. And so
you will change your family.
And the podcast were really helpful with that. But we got into it and we started getting the podcast, and we love the podcast, and we'll always do them, and they're great. But we realized our parents really needed something more. That again, in order for us to take the concepts in our book that we'd honed and instilled over 30 years, and the podcasts are great because we can take certain topics and kind of drip, but
they're more casual and they're so fun.
But we needed something that would not only allow us to expand through technology to so many other people around the world, literally, but also to take these concepts and be able to. Another thing we found out is your generation, the people who are listening to this podcast, are primarily love short video and audio. That it's the
snippets of
busy.
information.
Things are busy, and we don't like
a bunch coming at you.
We don't like long stuff. We don't, that you don't like, and even the concepts that we're trying to teach you. They are good in 15-minute videos because you take little snippets and we're able to drip it into you in a way. And so we said, okay, how can we deliver short video to a broad audience in a way that will make sense to them and will allow them to go down a path and continually develop themselves as parents?
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say is it's go down a path. It's a structure. It's a plan. It's kind of like the book has a beginning and an end, and it takes you through that. And the podcasts are kind of all over the place, all the different topics. But what we needed, that we wanted to give you, that parents asked us for, is basically a guide on your parenting journey that takes you through all the different crazy cool concepts, 15 minutes at a time, once a week, so that you can.
We just started to think, what if we could sit down across from a parenting couple and just talk to them for 15 minutes a week?
Yeah.
What would that look like? And take them through our 2 key words, relationships and culture. Take them through our 3 commitments: pursue God, build relationships, create culture. Take them through the 4 elements of culture, the 5 types of relationships, all the different concepts we wanted to teach parents over time.
And spend some time in each of those, encouraging extravagantly and a safe haven, and spending some time in each one of those so that they have a thorough understanding so that they can feel confident to go apply it to their family.
And inspire you in the process.
Yes, and encourage you, and like we keep saying, build you up and tell you what an incredible, amazing parent you are, and all your efforts worth it. Families worth it.
And you are worth it, and you are handpicked by God to be that parent. All those things that we want to keep just dripping into you. We're like, how can we do that? And somebody said, you guys should do a membership site. And we're like, what's a membership site?
Exactly.
but they said, it's a way that
a magazine that comes every week.
So we
through technology.
Yes. And so we started to develop what we now call Basecamp, and we launched it last year. It's been a huge success because parents can come, and it is a paid service, and so we do charge you on a monthly basis because we got to keep up with all the technology, and there's a lot of things we can't do, and so we have to pay people to do them.
To help us out.
But it really is, the membership site is literally, we sends you information every week. We send you those short videos. You have access to all of our courses, all of our content. You can interact with us and ask us questions. And we thought we loved podcasts. We love Basecamp because we still love podcasts and we still love our book, but we now are able to even go more in depth. But this is what
we were working toward. We didn't even realize it as we were writing the book, that this is where we were trying to go, which is to meet parents where they are and help them along their journey, one 15-minute segment at a time.
Yeah, and if they miss, it's all waiting for them. So
there's a whole.
It helps you with different styles of learning, and it also goes with our fast-paced lifestyle. You can do it on your phone. We text you the information, or we email it to you. It's so easy.
And it comes in once a week. It comes in on a Sunday as a weekly rethink with all the information that you need. It's got some applications there. It's got the videos are all connected. It's almost like we're handing you this feast once a week on Sunday for you to unpack and just to dig into all week long.
And really what it does to kind of land this plane today, it goes back to remember when we were just young parents and we said, we want this resource. And then later as people were asking, we're like, how do we create this comprehensive resource so that we teach you how to fish, so that we teach you everything you need to know, so you're not worried about when parenting situations come up, you already know how to do it because you're already trained. You're equipped.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know exactly.
And so how do we do that? Just in summary, if we had a parent that did everything we wanted them to do in Crazy Cool Family, they would read our book. They would listen to our podcast.
Yep, our weekly podcast we send out to you in a weekly email.
And they would join Basecamp and be with us. And if you'll do that, parents, It's a little bit of a time investment. It's a little bit of a money investment.
But
it's going to be a great benefit to your family.
Yeah. And so I just want to press in there a little bit and just say that family's the most important thing. It's worth your time investment. It's worth it. I mean, yes, sports are important and activities are important, and all those things that we busy our lives up with. Those things are important when it comes to building our children and to who they need to be. But the relationships in your family, the way you interact with each other, how your kids get along with each other, how you're pursuing God, how you're, all those relationships, those are the most important things. And that's what we talk about. Yeah. We talk about how to do those best and how to do those right. And so I just want to encourage you to choose to invest in those things. Choose to invest in your family.
Yeah, when parents come to me and say, I don't have the money or I don't have the time or whatever. And parents, if money is ever an issue with us,
let us know.
Email us.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we've got people that sponsor people. I mean, if money's really an issue, but so often somebody comes to me and it's just an excuse, and I'm like, dude, if you could spend $50,000 and you could spend 10,000 hours and you knew you would have an awesome family out of that time.
That your kids were going to love Jesus. They were going to love you. They were going to love each other. They were going to be contributing members to society. They were going to help bring heaven to earth.
Yeah.
I mean.
And you were going to enjoy them.
And you're going to have so much fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, would you do it? And they're like, yeah. And they'd be like, dude, you're not going to, that's nowhere near the cost. Maybe hours, because you're going to spend hours in the parenting or whatever, but think about what are you going to do? We've designed this for you to be a comprehensive, teach you how to fish investment in your family.
Easy. It's literally an along the way, as you're driving to pick your kids up from school, as you're doing the dishes, as you're out on a walk, you can listen to the podcast. You can watch the base camp videos.
Hopefully not while you're driving. But yes, that's exactly right. And so we just hope that this podcast gives you a little taste. One, we want to encourage you. Our mission, our lives are to help you become crazy cool families. And we know you want that, and we know that God wants that for you. And so hopefully today we've given you just a little taste of how we help you do it, helped you understand our ministry a little bit more. And if you have any questions, if you have any comments, even suggestions, just email us at info@crazycoolfamily.com. We would love to hear from you, and we would love to answer any questions you have. Hopefully you have learned a little bit more today, and we've answered some questions today. So let's go get involved at Crazy Cool Family. Let us know if you have any questions, and we are so excited to go on this journey with you. Go be crazy, parents. crazycoolfamily.com.